everybody, it's Sharon here. Welcome back to my channel for those who are returning, and welcome to any new subscribers that may be visiting for the first time. So I've got my new jelly plate out and I'm super excited to start playing with it. I do have my old jelly plate here to my right and you can see there's a huge colour difference. Doesn't necessarily affect the use or how I used my DIY jelly plate, but it was just interesting to notice that there was such a big difference in them. And I did actually split this as I was setting it up. I'm not sure that part is in camera, but you can see there I've split the plate, so I may need to melt it and reset it or make a new one at some stage, but I just wanted somewhere to roll off excess paint and decided that that would be a good spot. So around me I've got the Jo Sonjas paints that I've been using for different projects. I have been out here without you to have a little play with an idea, and I may share that with you in a future video because it kind of went better than expected. So that was really fun. Again, I have my big, I've just got to work around my camera stand, sorry. I've got my big pile of scrap papers that I want to use, a lot of scraps of matte photo paper plus other papers as well, and I decided I wanted to play with those while I get a feel for the new jelly plate, and I wanted to try something different at the end. So I just want to sort of see how the gel plate goes first, so we'll see how that goes. Now I did want to get my other white paint out. So I have that here. So all of my paints I'll be using are Jo Sonjas paints, except for the white paint, which is Global Colours, and I think it was just a relatively inexpensive paint that I picked up at a local art and craft supply store, or it may have even been bargain buys, which is where I do get a lot of my resources from. So okay, now what do I want to play with first? I kind of have some favourite go-to colours, but this is Storm Blue and it is a gouache as opposed to an acrylic. And I like the way both the gouache and the acrylic work together. Since I've been using these paints, I'm coming up with more and more ideas on how I want to use them moving forward. I do have a wet sponge here. I think I'll move that around. Oops, and I've got this set up on, I did have it on the tile, and I put this piece of, it's just a piece of art diary paper picked up from my local Kmart. I decided I wanted to put that underneath. I was getting a lot of glare from my light and I do apologize for that. I know that there is a reflection on this gel plate. What I'm noticing already is that I'm able to get a much lighter coverage with this gel plate. So I'm just popping the excess off my roller. I've got it on my finger, so it doesn't want to come off. I'm branded. I want to work with some lighter layers. She says as she gets a little heavy-handed with the yellow. So this is Naples Yellow Hue and it is an acrylic paint. It's actually a matte acrylic fluid, it says. For all of those really arty people who know all about paints. I'm still learning. Okay, and oops, just rolling that off on my other jelly plate. And I'm going to take a first impression. Now this jelly plate was, how big was it? Just let me check. So it's a 9 by 12. Now I'm noticing I'm getting some cracks in that paint there, and I chose it because it was big enough to fit a full A4 size paper on here, and this is A4 size, so I'm excited about that. So this is matte photo paper that I'm putting down. Just pulling out my scraps. This has got a little bit of print on the edge. I'm okay with that. I think this is normal copy paper. What else do I have? Actually, this might have been normal copy paper too, just looking at it. And I'm going to get... Okay, so this is the same paper I have underneath my gel plate. It's a piece of paper from a visual arts diary from Kmart. I just need something to use as my cover sheet. Not sure how much of an impression I will get from these because the gel plate is quite new. I'm going to really press that down there. And already I love that. There are some blank areas on the edge there, but I may go over it with a lighter colour. Now I love that as it is. I'm going to see if I can entice a little colour onto that corner. Don't know that I'm going to be overly successful, so seems it's dried up on even my DIY already, so I don't know, I may do a little touch up. I'm really loving these. Going to call that done. I really like... I'm not sure I want to worry about those corners because I really like them as they are, and I worry if I play with it too much I will mess them up, which I've done before. Sometimes too much is too much. Love that. Too much is too much. That makes sense, doesn't it? That's a really fun strip. There's a lot less texture, probably because I don't have any build up on my gel plate yet. I love that. Okay. I'm going to go in with the yellow. Before I turn the camera on, I've been prepping to do a little fabric dyeing. I've got a container with some fabrics on my right, and I've got some tea that I've made in a jug that's sitting on the desk in front of me, and it's cooling as we speak, so I can dye my fabrics. Okay. Now, do I want the blue? I do want a little bit of blue, I think. I really love this storm blue. Just looking for thin layers. That was one of the reasons I was intrigued to get a store-bought gel plate, because I wasn't achieving the thin layers as much as I was hoping to on my DIY plate. So I just noticed I'm lifting the paint up. This is a new tube. Oh my goodness, I feel like that took me about 5 minutes to get off. It's probably an exaggeration, and I'm not going to show you all of that on video. That was very awkward. I also have the skin tone base, which I really love for finishing off a plate. It's got a little bit of colour, but it's not over the top, and it's a neutral, so it kind of goes with any colour tone that I put on my gel plate, which I really love. Okay. I cannot believe that took me so long to get off. Whoops, I even got a little bit of foil on my gel plate. I did wonder about that. Okay, so I'm just going to clean my roller off on this DIY plate. And I need a bigger room. I need a bigger space. If anybody can take care of that for me. I'm not complaining. I have 2 amazing craft areas that I absolutely love. Very, very lucky. Okay, so just laying these down. Sometimes it's really hard to tell which way around the paper goes. And again, I've got a little bit of colour there. I think those pieces are from fussy cutting my tea stain tag kits. And just looking for a piece that might work on here. I'll do a couple of strip pieces. Okay, and I have my cover paper here. Oops, slipping. One thing I do love about the DIY, about the store-bought gel plates, sorry, is that they come with their own covers over them. I really love that. That's fun. Of course, they're not going to be much different to the first lot we did because they're basically using the same colours. Didn't get as much off of that as I would have liked. Not too bad. Looks like I've got a paint goober. Spread that around with my nail, which was really fun. It kind of flattened out. I was expecting to be able to scratch it off, but it didn't scratch. It just sort of smushed. But that's left a really fun impression on the plate. I love that. That can go to the finished pile. As can that one. It's really fun. And can that one, or as that one can. Oh yes, so can that one. So it looks like we're starting to build up a couple of layers. So now I did have, might have been this green oxide. don't know. I think that one's on the thicker side. Maybe that's why I have two out. I'm not sure if this is the green I want to use. Whoops, it is now. So this one is the matte fluid acrylic. Trying to straighten up. I feel like I'm crooked. Okay, I'm going to go in with a yellow. I can see the paint is sort of sitting, it's forming like puddles. I'm hoping they translate once we pull the print. So just going in lightly with my brayer to start with, just to pick up that yellow paint so that it doesn't pull up the drier paint off the gel plate. That's what I'm trying to aim for. Okay, getting some lovely thin layers on my DIY gel plate over here too. So I'm going to go in with these and just pick up areas. I really love that. Oops. So I'm pretty happy with that. I don't mind a little white coming through. If you watched my video, I think it was about a week or two ago, I had a play with my DIY plate and I had white areas and I ended up tea staining some of those papers. And I decided once I'd done a few that I actually preferred the white coming through. So I am now ready to embrace the white. And I'm not talking about the white on my gel plate, I'm talking about the white that's left from my matte photo paper coming through the paint. She says as she tries to cover one little white spot that just doesn't want to cover. It still doesn't. How funny. Okay, it's not too bad. I do have a wet cloth to my right that I just am using to wipe my fingers every now and then. I really wasn't sure how that green would go with the blue, but I really like it. I knew that I'd used a green and a blue together previously and I really liked them, but I couldn't remember which one it was. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, so I think I might go in with the green again. I do have a bigger roller this time too. I am using a 15 centimeter roller, whereas I have been using the 10 prior to now. I figured with the slightly bigger gel plate, I might like the bigger roller. Thinking the yellow. I really love the pop of yellow through the green and the blue. Okay, so that's starting to lift. When I'm doing this, to be able to tell whether my gel plate is ready or whether I can keep rolling, when the paint starts to lift up onto my roller instead of staying on the gel plate and moving around, that's when I know it's time to stop rolling. I do like to do it for a little while because, as you can see where I'm putting the white paint here, I do have a little bit of openness, and that helps show whatever colour I put on next. So and those quick soft roller strokes I found move the paint around easier and much more evenly than really pushing down and rolling. So now, I don't know, I feel like I want to try a piece of fabric. I didn't think I'd want to do that this early in, but I'm going to go for it. I'm just cleaning off my hands quickly. So I have a piece of calico fabric here. I have no idea how this will go. But it's something I've been wanting to try for a while now. I had considered whether or not I should gesso my fabric before I do the print, and I've decided to try it without doing the gesso. Here goes. I'm going to roll that a little bit more firmly, I think. Oh my goodness, I love it. I love that it's thin. It's a thin coat, which I really was hoping for. Now these fabrics that I have to use are cut big enough to do a cover. So just going to see if I can pick up a little bit more around the edges. No, it doesn't want to do that. So that is, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I love that I can see the calico coming through, that beautiful creamy tone that I love so much. That is so fun. Oh my gosh, that's really exciting. Okay, so I want to do a little more around the edges if I can. So I'm going to use the same colors. So the green first. Okay, so I might go in with a little more yellow, I'm thinking. And it's funny how some areas just don't want to print. I was kind of working on these areas here. They don't want to print. I'm okay with that. I'm leaving that as it is. I'm really happy with that. So I have myself one beautiful journal cover. I love that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm going to go in now with, I think, a little bit of the blue actually. Oh my gosh. Oh, I have a thread. That's really fun. I love that. Okay. I'm noticing there's a couple of threads, which is really awesome. I love, love, love. And I could leave them there. I'll probably end up with more, but oh my goodness, this is so fun. Oh gosh, I love that. So I'm going to go in with the yellow, I think. Maybe a little yellow and maybe a little green for around the edges. I'm noticing a thread. I'm noticing two threads. I'm going to leave them. If they're still there, they're meant to be. I said green, didn't I? Whoops, that's not necessarily a little bit, but I'm hoping it will spread to a fairly... I'm working with a slightly, or it feels like a slightly larger area that I'm used to as well. And the other thing is this doesn't seem to use quite as much paint as my DIY did. So I'm trying to be mindful of that. Okay, and I think I want to go in with a little white. This is so exciting. I've been wanting to try this for so long now. Okay, so I'm noticing this is the edge of my sheet. So I tend to use flat sheets or fitted sheets. I know some people prefer the flat sheets because they don't have to worry about seams or the elastic which you get on a fitted sheet. Generally I unpick the elastic and I repurpose that as well by staining it. I'm pretty happy with that. That's super fun. That will be my cover. Or that way, either or. So I'm going to set that aside to dry. I will show you both of them actually, if I can. This across. I just don't want any excess paint on the back. So that's the second one we did. And this is the first. So you can see the creaminess of the calico coming through. And this one has a more green appearance than this one, which may be the fact that it's got the creamier tone base. But I think they're both really, really gorgeous. Love, love, love. I'm going to set this one on top because this was done last, so it's a little bit wetter. Okay, now I'm like, do I want to play with fabric or with paper? Because I want both. I love them both. I'm going to get lost down this rabbit hole. I really need to keep an eye on the time, I think. I don't think I want to steer away from the blues, greens and yellows yet. I find when I'm doing things like this, I tend to stick to colours in threes. I don't know why that is, but I've just found that that formula seems to work for me. I'm thinking I might go in with the blue and then do the white over the top and see if I can pull what's on my gel plate. I may even do this one on another piece of calico. It will be fun to compare. Here we go. Oh my gosh, so pretty. I'm hoping that's showing okay in camera. It's a bit hard to see the screen properly from where I am, so I'm hoping you can see that. I picked up a thread. I quite like that thread there. So fun. I really want to have a play more with, sorry, I know that's not in focus for you. I'd really like to try this same technique using some more neutral colours as well. I mean, really all the colours of the rainbow would be good, wouldn't they? I'm hoping you can see the texture in that from the fabric. I think I want to do more of the green and yellow. So I'm just trying to pick up around the edges with a little colour. It's much lighter. Don't really know that I'm getting as much colour on there as I would like. I should have gone in with the green first, I'm thinking. So I'm going to keep going because I want to make a little bit of an opening on my gel plate for some green to show through, and then I might overprint it, I think. Whoops, wrong spot. It's very subtle, that green around the edges, isn't it? I kind of like it. Now I'm like, do I want to leave it like that, or do I want to it's kind of fun. Wondering if I can tone down that middle section a little bit. It's all an experiment, really, isn't it? Oh, that just kind of brought it together, I think. I quite like that. Got a little bit of grunginess on there from the edges, which I wasn't expecting. How does that... It's actually quite pretty. I think I'm going to leave it like that. It's much more subtle than the others that I've done, which I wasn't expecting. Look at that. Isn't that fabulous? There's another spot right in the center there that I wouldn't mind some extra grunge. And I'm just looking down this edge now too. Oh yes. And up here. Okay, well that is all kinds of fun and interesting. I love that. Oops, got a thread. I need to stop doing that. Yay. So I'm going to set that aside to dry. I love that as a journal cover. Oh, that's really awesome. Love, love, love. Okay, I think as much as I'm having lots of fun, yes, I'm going to have to finish up. So I'm going to clean these up. I'm probably going to add a little bit of extra paint and just do a couple of paper pulls to see if I can pull up the excess paint off both of the gel plates and then clean them up. But I really wanted to say a huge thank you to you all for joining me while I've played with this idea. I love the papers and the fabrics that we've created. Remembering we've only used 3 different colours plus the white, and I couldn't be happier with the results. I cannot wait to have a play. Actually, I'm just looking. bright shiny things. I'm just looking at this and I'm wondering if I want to add a little bit of extra paint around the outside of that using what's left on this gel plate. I was winding it up, guys, but you know, when inspiration calls, I probably haven't added enough. I just want the crunchy bits. Okay, don't know how this will go. Probably not going to get a lot from this, I'm thinking. Not really. I'll keep going while I'm talking. I am so inspired with so many things at the moment. It's so exciting, and the gel printing is just one of them. And as you've seen from previous videos, now I've had a little play with some of the gel printing that I did on the matte photo paper previously, and I really have enjoyed using that in my crafting so much. So I'm excited to be able to use a little bit more of that technique, that idea, to create some new and exciting pieces for my journals. So I'm getting a little bit of colour off here. Still not a whole lot. Using the back of my nail. It's kind of a speckled coverage, but it is a coverage, so I'm sticking with it because I feel like that blends it a little bit more with the actual print that I have on here, rather than just the plain calico. I'll see, that's kind of fun. Isn't that really fun? Way more interesting than the plain calico fabric there I had before I started doing this around the edges. So, oh yes, okay. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. Oh, yes, yes, yes. How fabulous. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. That just finished off my last piece for me. That was the one that I wasn't really sure I liked, but I really love it now. So I wanted to say, get out there and start playing with the resources that you have, because seriously, these last couple of weeks have been so fun and so inspiring, and I'm super excited to move forward and see what I can think of next. So please, everybody, stay safe, stay inspired, and happy crafting. I look forward to seeing you all soon. Bye for now.